Melbourne's mean streets, city violence in focus, how we're fighting back. Victoria's flood crisis, heroic communities bracing for the worst. Why Melbourne's high-tech parking sensors are on the blink. And how Majestic Mary is giving Melbourne a major tourism boost. Good evening from Federation Square and this 7 News special bulletin on crime in Melbourne. First, let's look at the figures. The latest police statistics show serious crime has increased dramatically across the state. Robberies up nearly 8%, drug offences more than 11%, and assaults more than 7%. But there's also evidence the battle to reclaim our city streets is being won, with families coming back into the CBD. Dean Felton begins our coverage.
On the streets of Melbourne, blood is still being spilt. Young men are still being locked up. Safety in numbers. Dean Felton, 7 News.
Every victim of city crime has a different story to tell, but few as compelling as that of former soldier Scott May. Reporter Cameron Bowe explains.
One of the most recent recruits to Victoria Police walks the city streets with more purpose than most. Constable 7 News.
And the man ultimately responsible for fighting crime in this city, Police Chief Ken Lay, joins us tonight. Thanks for your time this evening, Chief Commissioner. Can I firstly ask you about zero tolerance, New York-style policing? Would it work here?
Look, Peter, there is an option to take a hard line when people are playing up and dangerous to others, and we will certainly do that. By the time there's the opportunity to take a softer line, so we'll certainly do that as well.
We do have a few protesters here tonight, but can I also...
People exercising their democratic rights.
Exactly. Can I also ask you about plans to run the public transport system all day and night? Will that work?
Look, we know certainly there's, in really busy times, it's good to get people in and out of the city very quickly. So certainly times like New Year's Eve and the like, we encourage that sort of thing. But I think in times that come, we will see things around change.
As we heard from the Lord Mayor, we seem to be winning the battle against city crime. Yeah. Is that what you're hearing?
Yeah, we're certainly seeing far less crime than we saw 12 months ago. But having said that, there are still some significant issues we need to work our way through.
Thanks very much for your time again, Chief Commissioner. We'd like to get you some work to do. Thanks for your time. That's Police Chief Ken Lay. Thanks very much. To our flood crisis now, and large areas of the state remain underwater tonight. One of the hardest hit towns is Numurkah near Shepparton in the state's north. Ben McNair is there, and Ben, what's the latest?
Peter, believe it or not, this is the main street of Numurkah, and as you can see, it's well and truly under. Ever seen it before? Ben McNair, 7 News.
Residents in nearby Nathalia are racing to build a levee ahead of the biggest flood in the town's history. The Broken Creek is expected to peak on Thursday, putting nearly 200 homes at risk. Laurel Irving is there tonight. Laurel, locals are trying something new to save them.
They are, Mitch. This is the levee that locals hope will save the town of Nathalia when the Broken Creek peaks. It's believed to be the first time in Australia something like this has been used. It was imported here from Sweden. Inundated for weeks. Laurel Irving, 7 News.
The biggest cruise ship ever to visit Melbourne, the Queen Mary 2, docked in our port today, bringing with it around 4,000 passengers and crew and a boost for the local tourism industry. Christy Cooper is at Station Pier tonight, and Christy, she's caused quite a stir.
Yes, Peter, the Queen Mary 2 is just about to set sail for Sydney, and plenty of people have turned out.
Trip starts at $6,000. Christy Cooper, 7 News.
Ahead in 7 News from a noisy Federation Square, parents warned over a pervert targeting school children. Also how Melbourne's new high-tech parking spaces could be nonsense, and why these Brighton residents made their neighbours see red. After fire broke out on the 7th floor of a William Street building site, flames could be seen from neighbouring buildings, and thick black smoke spread over a large part of the city. Sparks from a welder started the blaze. Police are hunting a muscle-bound flasher who's been exposing himself to schoolgirls in Melbourne's southeast. Students at this Moorabbin bus stop were flashed in one of 18 incidents recorded over the past 2 years.
This offending on its own is quite alarming. to the community and obviously the parents of these victims.
The man in his 30s is described as having an athletic build and usually wears Nike exercise gear. Melbourne City Council could face legal challenges over its new high-tech parking sensors. There are claims they can be subject to interference, but as Emily Angwin reports, the council is standing by the technology.
Many drivers try to get out of their parking fines, but now they may actually have a legitimate reason.
Our members are being asked to use technology that is at least questionable.
The council is seeking legal advice. Emily Angwin, 7 News.
Australian stocks finished lower but managed to claw back some losses in late trade. Miners led the fall. Rio Tinto slipped 84 cents. The banks were mixed, while the Australian dollar's buying 107.09 US cents. A Brighton man has been fined $20,000 for lopping a council-owned tree to improve his view of the bay. The Moorabbin Magistrates Court fined John Langton Bunker and ordered him to pay for the replacement of the tree. Today, the 65-year-old's wife let her dogs do the explaining.
Make him speak and he'll tell you. William? Yes. Ruby, speak. Yes, good boy.
Local residents were outraged by the 2010 tree lopping and staged a campaign to catch the person responsible. I've never been more happy to cross to sport next with Sandy Roberts.
Yes, I think you're right there, Mitch. Well done, though. Coming up tonight, the sun keeps shining for Carmichael Hunt as Nick Natanui climbs new heights with a leap of faith. And to be sure, golf has a new #1 man. We can guess who the other one was, Mitch, of course. One Tiger Woods. Well done tonight, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Good on you, Sandy. Thank you very much indeed. Sarah Gruen has the weather next and the latest on our Big Wet. Before we go to the weather, we should explain we've had some unexpected company here at Federation Square tonight. It's a protest over a free trade deal called the Trans-Pacific Partnership Agreement. Now, here's Sarah Gruen with the weather.
Thanks, Peter, and good evening. Well, certainly cooler across Melbourne today with top temperatures a touch below the average. A few clouds about, but otherwise mainly fine. 22 degrees the maximum just after 4 o'clock, 15 the overnight low, and right now in town it's 20 degrees. Well, from the satellite, heavy rain has well and truly cleared the state, although as we told you earlier, flood warnings remain in place. The bulk of the wet weather is now sitting across southeast Queensland with this low pressure system whipping up heavy rain and squally winds. That low will move south later in the week, bringing more rain to the New South Wales coastline. So heavy rain for the Queensland coast tomorrow. Brisbane reaching 28 degrees. Sydney a few showers and 24. Warm and sunny in Perth, reaching 38 there. Mainly fine across Victoria, just some isolated showers in the south, mainly affecting eastern parts. Tops there in the low 20s. And out on the bay, waters will be slight to choppy with moderate south to southwesterly winds reaching 20 to 30 kilometres an hour, a top of 21 at Frankston. Melbourne partly cloudy with isolated showers and the chance of afternoon storms in the southeast, heading for a top of 21 degrees after an overnight low of 15. And looking ahead, we should see increasing sunshine from Wednesday, expecting a top of 23 degrees. Thursday, blue skies and 25 after a low of 13 again. Friday, mainly fine and 22, and there could be a few showers about on the weekend, but there won't be much in it. Tops of 23 Saturday and Sunday. But Peter, certainly warming up towards the end of the week.
Thanks very much indeed, Sarah. And that's the way it is this Monday, the 5th of March. Thanks for your company. Today Tonight is next with Matt White. I'll have updates throughout the evening. For now, good night.